Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning into the channel, and if you're new here, a warm welcome to the community. Today, we have something incredibly exciting planned for you, so make yourself comfortable, grab a snack, and enjoy the experience. We're going to explore love story of the bald head Abeni, and believe me, you'll want to stay till the end. As always, if you enjoy engaging stories and fresh content, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss what's coming up next. Now, sit back, unwind, and let's get started.
In the center of West Africa, situated among vast undulating hills and under the watchful warmth of the sun, was the village of NTONSO. This village was celebrated for its vibrant culture, lively dances, and most notably the hair of its inhabitants. Every individual, man, woman, and child, was born with long luscious hair that grew faster than the tallest trees in the nearby woods. Hair represented beauty, pride, and status in NTONSO. The villagers meticulously cared for it, believing their tresses linked them to the spirits of their forebears. However, there was one who stood out in this community. Her name was Abeni. As lovely as the dawn, her eyes sparkled like the river that flowed near the village. Yet in contrast to everyone else in NTONSO, Abeni was devoid of hair. Her head was as smooth as a pebble in a stream, gleaming in the light. From the very moment of her birth, she had been unique. When she was young, her mother, Keys, shared tales of their lineage and emphasized the significance of hair. However, despite every attempt, remedies from the herbalist, invocations to the gods, and unique oils from far-off places, Abeni's hair remained sparse. Other children mocked her, hurling insults, and some townsfolk murmured that the spirits had placed a curse on her. Her mother quietly cried at night, worrying about her daughter's prospects. Yet as Abeni matured, so too did another aspect, her inner radiance. She moved with elegance, communicated with a wisdom beyond her years, and regarded everyone with compassion, including those who had previously ridiculed her. Her laughter was like a melody carried on the breeze, and her heart was as vast as the heavens. Gradually, the people of NTONSO started to recognize her not for her lack of hair, but for her character. What was most astonishing, however, was the impact she had on the men in the village. While most of the men in NTONSO pursued women with the longest and most beautiful hair, they found themselves irresistibly attracted to Abeni. It wasn't solely her physical appearance that enchanted them, it was her self-assurance, her resilience, and the way she moved as if she needed nothing. For her, being different held no shame, standing out was not a burden. This brilliance was what made the men of NTONSO fall profoundly in love with her. Kwame the blacksmith was the first to reveal his feelings. "Abeni," he said one evening as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden hues across the sky, "not a single day goes by that I don't think of you. You are the light of my life. Will you marry me?" Before Abeni could answer, Didi the village fisherman interjected. "No, Abeni, I have loved you since we were young. Marry me and I will create a home for you by the river, where we can watch the fish swim every morning." And then Kofi the warrior knelt in front of her. "Abeni, you are the bravest woman I have ever encountered. You have confronted the world with your head held high, and I cannot envision my life without you. Please marry me." All of a sudden, it felt like every single eligible man in the village was professing his love for Abeni. They were attracted to her not in spite of her baldness but because of it. She was extraordinary, a woman unlike any they had ever met. Her beauty resided not in her hair but in her spirit. However, Abeni was not quick to be influenced. She stood there with tears brimming in her eyes, gazing at the men who had previously turned away from her. She could sense the burden of their desires, their hopes, and their expectations weighing down on her. But deep within, Abeni understood that her value was not determined by how many men yearned for her, nor by the standards of beauty that had troubled her since she was young. "My heart cannot be claimed as a trophy," she said softly, her voice filled with both sorrow and determination. "I will not marry out of obligation to appearances or as a gesture of gratitude for your affection." She gazed over the village, recalling all the hours spent in solitude, watching other girls weave their long, flowing hair, wondering if she would ever be regarded as beautiful. Yet now, enveloped by those who cherished her, Abeni experienced a different kind of isolation, the burden of decisions she wasn't prepared to make. As the men held their breath for her response, Abeni shifted her focus to the far-off hills where she often retreated to be alone. There, away from the village's expectations, she sought comfort in nature, where beauty was not defined by hair or rank but by the quiet, unspoken harmony of existence. In her heart, she recognized that her journey was still ongoing. There were truths she needed to uncover, about who she was, the nature of love, and the life she genuinely desired. And so, with a heavy heart, she expressed once again, before deciding, I must first discover what I am truly seeking and what kind of love can fill the emptiness within me. Until then, my choice must be postponed. The village fell silent, the sun sinking behind the hills, casting elongated shadows across the ground. Abeni, tears streaming down her cheeks, turned away, leaving the men behind, her path unclear but brimming with the promise of exploration. But deep within her, she was aware that her story was only just beginning. Abeni roamed for days after making her declaration, searching for the tranquility and insight she desired. She journeyed to the sacred forest where the elders shared wisdom of old and sat by the river, allowing the gentle flow of the water to soothe her anxious heart. In these solitary moments, she began to grasp a truth she had always held within. Love was not a competition, nor was it something to win. It was a force that emerged effortlessly, much like the river flowing past her. One evening, as the sky transformed into shades of pink and orange, Abeni made her way back to the village. A quiet determination marked her stride, and a gentleness filled her heart that had been absent before. She had discovered her truth. Abeni strides through the village, her chin raised high, illuminated by the gentle light of the setting sun. Kwame the blacksmith noticed her first. He had remained hopeful and had awaited her return with steadfast patience. As Abeni drew near, he placed his hammer down and approached her. Abeni, Kwame spoke gently, I still harbor the love I professed, but above all, I wish for your happiness. If your heart lies with another, I will genuinely hope for your joy. His words touched Abeni deeply. He had seen her strength and respected her journey. But it was not Kwame that her heart had called out for during her days of reflection. She smiled gently at him and placed her hand on his. Thank you, Kwame. You are kind, but my heart has chosen another. Abeni continued her walk through the village, her feet leading her toward the riverbanks. There by the water's edge stood Didi the fisherman. He was tending to his nets, unaware that Abeni was approaching. Abeni traverses the riverbanks, her image shimmering in the flowing water as she approaches Didi. Didi, Abeni called out, her voice soft yet steady. He looked up, surprised to see her after so many days. I never stop thinking of you, Didi said, rising to his feet. Every time I cast my nets, I wonder if you feel the same pull in your heart that I do in mine. Abeni smiled warmly, but again she knew her heart lay elsewhere. You will make someone very happy, Didi, but that someone is not me. I have found what I seek and I must follow my heart. With a heavy but understanding nod, Didi stepped aside, allowing Abeni to continue her path. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden glow over the village as Abeni ascended the hill, toward the one place where she had always felt secure, the place her heart had consistently guided her to. Kofi, the warrior, stands resolutely on the hill, gazing at the sunset, oblivious to Abeni nearing him from behind. Kofi remained solitary, his silhouette outlined against the glowing horizon, weighed down by thoughts of Abeni. He hadn't pursued her like the others. It wasn't due to a lack of love but rather a deep respect for her need for space. His love was quiet yet powerful, much like the ground beneath him. As Abeni drew nearer, her heartbeat quickened. During her absence, Kofi had often occupied her thoughts. His silent strength, his implicit support, and the way he never pressured her or treated her like a trophy were comforting. In him she recognized the love she had yearned for, one that honored her journey and walked alongside her, neither ahead nor behind. Abeni halted just a few paces behind him. Kofi, she breathed. He turned gradually, meeting her gaze, which held a depth of feeling she had never encountered before. Abeni, he replied, his voice soft and gentle, I didn't pursue you not because I lacked desire, but because I understood you needed to chart your own course. I love you, and whether you choose to be with me or not, I will always cherish that love. Tears filled Abeni's eyes. She moved closer, bridging the gap between them, and took his hand gently. Kofi, she said, her voice trembling with feeling, you are my choice. Your love has always been steadfast and compassionate. You recognized me when nobody else did. You never sought to change me or make me feel inferior. Kofi and Abeni stand side by side on the hill, holding hands as the sun dips behind them, casting a warm golden light over the scene. Kofi's eyes shimmered with tears as he drew her into a tender embrace. "I will cherish you for everything that you are, Abeni. And I will journey with you through whatever lies ahead." The villagers had gathered below the hill, watching in wonder as Abeni and Kofi stood together, their union blessed by the setting sun. The drums began to softly echo in the distance, and the people of NTONSO who once criticized Abeni for her uniqueness, now celebrated the strength and beauty she had always possessed. A few days later, Abeni and Kofi faced the entire village, their hands clasped together, their love shining like the brightest star in the evening sky. The elders bestowed their blessings upon their union, and the villagers danced and sang, rejoicing in a love that had emerged from respect, understanding, and patience. The village elders offer blessings to Abeni and Kofi as they stand before the community, dressed in traditional wedding outfits with flowers in their hands. Abeni did not wear a veil, a crown, or braids. Her bald head shimmered in the moonlight, radiating beauty and representing her strength and individuality. Kofi stood beside her, holding her hand with pride, knowing he had found not just a wife, but a partner and equal who would journey alongside him through life's many paths. As they vowed their love, tears flowed freely in the village. The tale of Abeni, the girl who had been teased for her lack of hair, had transformed into a symbol of genuine beauty, and the love between her and Kofi was one that would inspire the village for many years. Abeni and Kofi share a kiss beneath the stars, surrounded by their loved ones, while the village celebrates with dancing and music in the background. Thus, beneath the shimmering stars and the watchful spirits of their ancestors, Abeni and Kofi united in marriage. The community of NTONSO celebrated not merely the joining of two lives, but the valuable lesson Abeni imparted, that true beauty resides not in looks but within the heart. In the final scene, Abeni and Kofi walk hand in hand, their forms silhouetted against the moonlit sky, as the village continues to celebrate behind them.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you found this video helpful and enjoyable, please remember to hit the like button as it really supports the channel. Also, if you're new or haven't already, make sure to subscribe and enable notifications. Until next time, take care and keep exploring.